associates. All right, so this video is just going to go over the career application materials assignment. Okay, so for this, as the name implies, you're going to create some career application material. So that includes, cover letter, resume, and then you're going to do a LinkedIn as well. Now, I know a lot of companies, go through digital application systems, call it an applicant tracking system, ATS. You have to fill in, a lot of fields and whatnot. And so sometimes, cover letters and resumes feel like, oh, why am I doing this? I don't have to do it. There's too many companies won't require particularly like a cover letter to be uploaded, but I mean, why not do it? Right? We know that the market is really tight out there. And if, you get through that initial round and it's between you and you didn't upload a cover letter and somebody else who did, I mean, whose competition is it going to go towards, right? So I definitely would say better safe than sorry. Cover letters, especially once you have a really strong kind of template and idea through this assignment, shouldn't take more than 45 minutes. Probably even less once you get really used to writing it and just tailoring to each job. So just go ahead and do it, just in case. So that way you will be that much more ahead compared to the people who didn't bother to turn anything in at all. So yeah. Oh, and then also, so that's with cover letters, and then resumes. Definitely important to still keep a resume. If you go to any job fairs, that's good. You can email it out to people. Often they'll still ask you to upload your resume, even if you put the data through their ATS system, because eventually somebody will be looking at it and want just like that nice piece of paper. Also, if you have, your cover letter all set up, then it's really easy to use that. Like when I was applying to jobs, I'd have the application on one screen, have my resume open on the next screen, and I could just quickly copy the dates and the job responsibilities and titles and all that stuff over. So definitely it helps to just keep that resume updated and keep your cover letter template strong. All right, so also on this, if you already have a resume, which many of you I'm sure have, use this to either develop a different version or make sure it's really updated. So I recommend having a bunch of different versions. You can see all the different versions of resumes that Preston and I both have on Canvas, just to get an idea of, I play around with really traditional and like ATS compatible ones. I play around with more graphic ones, kind of somewhere in the middle. I also have resumes tailored to kind of different sectors of the industry, plus my sort of master CV. Same with Preston, he has, just some different designs going. So if you already have one, then use this time to just come up with a different version. So that way you have options when you're applying to places and jobs and whatnot. All right, so basically there's a few tasks. This is a little bit bigger of a project and a little bit more in depth. So, but hopefully you have some of these materials started just already. So first, that personal branding worksheet. This was found in Module 1. I had asked you to complete it. And so this section hopefully helped you create some, good personal goals and everything. It's not a graded component, but it definitely can help get you started with thinking about these stories and elements. So I hope that you did complete that. I think it marked it as a prerequisite, but you have agency in how you go about finding out your stories. So the second thing that you're going to do once you have your personal branding worksheet ready, you got those goals, those stories, those key skills, all that stuff, go ahead and develop or revise your resume. Try to keep it to a page. 2 pages is okay now. That will sort of depend. Some older school companies might say 1 page. But here's the thing, even if you're at like a career fair and you print it front to back, it's like, well, the back side of the page is just wasted space anyway. So might as well, if you have the experiences and they're relevant to fit it, then go ahead and do that. I've never had any issues or anyone comment in all the internships and jobs and whatnot, in my experience, comment on having 2 pages. So I think it's okay, but that's kind of a judgment call for you to make, of course. But you definitely need to obviously have contact information. I do want you to create a summary statement. This can be really quick. It's sort of like the three key things that you want them to know and take away from your resume. So you don't necessarily want to just like repeat bullet points from your resume because we'll read it right there. So find a way to kind of rephrase and draw attention to here's what you're all about, right? You don't need to do like an objective statement. For like, oh, I'm applying to this job because, unless it ties into your summary. So again, just come up with those summary. You can see on my examples, so as Preston's example of what we kind of did with that summary statement. So just come up with something that really defines you and makes it easy and quick to be like, oh yeah, this person. Work experience, education, any other appropriate skill-based data. Is good. So then this kind of step 2 of the resume, once you have it, I want you to create a LinkedIn or update your LinkedIn if you don't have one already. LinkedIn is a really powerful career search tool. Recruiters will find you there. You can connect with companies, and it offers sort of a, an online portfolio where you don't have to go and like make your own website or something, unless that's something, of course, your industry expects. So I do want you to do your resume and then convert it over to LinkedIn, and we'll be looking at that. For the cover letter, you need to find a position you're interested in. So maybe you can search through LinkedIn and see what's on there, and then draft a letter template with 3 skills and responsibilities, that you saw in that career position, right? So I would highly recommend picking out sort of your dream, job, ideal career. Again, you might return to that first industry analysis essay and look up some of those job titles. Pick some of the skills and responsibilities listed within that job title, and then create a cover letter that, you could adapt and be suited for those types of jobs. So by template, I mean, put in all the appropriate placeholders for the contact information, where you're going to list the company, labels, and then I want you to kind of write out the topics that you might cover in each paragraph. So basically, for a strong template, you need to write some concrete stories as explanations that complement the skills on your resume and demonstrate your value. So I have an example, here, right? So a lot of people, I see it's very common to say like, oh, I'm really skilled in problem solving, or I'm a hard worker. So instead of just saying, oh, I'm skilled at problem solving, like show me that you're skilled in problem solving in a way that could relate to the job. So for example, I'm right during a group project on X, and make sure that X is a group project that maybe relates to the job. So as a lab analyst or a lab manager, right? You might say during the group project on, cell research and processes. Our files were deleted from the Google Doc to solve this problem, right? Showing you're skilled in problem solving. I worked with another classmate to recreate the presentation based on our notes and early save files, right? So this is showing A, that you did actually solve a problem, so problem solving skills. It also helps demonstrate some work ethic skills because, you and your teammate that you're working with, so collaboration skills, actually recreated this whole project. So that shows you have some work ethic. That shows you can work with other people. It shows you can problem solve. So really like ground your skills in something concrete. And then you might end with, instead of panicking, found a solution to meet the project deadline. Maybe that's something that matters in that job. Most jobs care about deadlines. My problem solving abilities will be valuable when completing lab analyses for your company, right? So again, write down, like pick a skill from your dream job position, write down an experience you have had already that clearly, concretely shows that you have, that skill plus some, right? So that's what I want you to do as far as like this kind of template, right? So really just, you don't have to write out the cover letter fully, though I would recommend kind of pretending you're applying to that job. But really, I care that in this cover letter, you have 3 clear, concrete stories that correspond with these skills. So that way, when you are applying for jobs, you can pull out this cover letter, quickly insert, okay, here's the company, here's how I was going to start it out. Oh yeah, I already have these stories in place. Here's, maybe some I might swap out or how I'll connect it. Boom, you're done and ready to apply. So as far as expectations, basically, A-level work expresses your skills and really shows to me that you are prepared for the job search and to get out there and beat all the competition. So, just make sure it's really easy for me to find the data. It's clean, it's professional, but it also shows you, right? This is your document. This is you on paper. So if your resume and cover letter is just very, very vague, and it could be applied to any student in any industry applying for any job, that's going to be a problem, because then you're just going to blend in like everyone else, right? So just make sure it's grounded in like, no, here's my experiences and the things I have gone through that are going to be valuable to your company, and that make me a better candidate than these other people that just say they have good work ethic, right? If your resume and cover letter do lack a lot of relevant experiences, like it will be reflected in your grade to an extent. So just like when you're out applying to these internships and jobs, like they aren't really going to care that you're, maybe you're only a sophomore and you just haven't had that much experiences or haven't joined any clubs or anything yet. Like, well, there are, other people that you're applying against that probably are sophomores, maybe even first year students that have joined and started clubs and have volunteered and have taken unpaid internships and whatnot to get that experience. So, like it will be reflected in your grade if your resume doesn't really have anything on it. So just kind of be aware and use this time to hopefully see where maybe your gaps are.
I got no respect because I'm the new man. Got my shovel, shoes full of sand. Dig it dig it, dig it dig it.
Okay, minimum requirement. Resume and LinkedIn, 25 points total. Make sure you have all these elements on there, right? Filling it out, all the necessary information people expect from a resume. Cover letter, 25 points. You need to have the contact info placeholders for the company so you know all the information to put in for all the jobs you apply to. Make sure that you actually have written out a nice just opening paragraph. That's going to just be about your background and your values. You can put in some placeholders of things you might adapt per job, but I do want to have and see a good, little paragraph of what you're all about and why, this industry is for you. And then have 3 concrete stories that coincide with a skill, right? So kind of how I had that example of, okay, if the skill is problem solving, write an actual story from your experiences that demonstrate problem solving. If the skill is data analysis, write a concrete story about the project or hobby or class or something that you did or internship that show you actually have data analysis. Try to embed, some good growth statistics and concreteness. And then lastly, a concluding paragraph. So draft your sort of action statement. Thank you. Like, how do you plan on ending your cover letters? When you're doing all of this, right, your skills are going to be determining relevant and appropriate information, right, for your situation. We all have a lot of experiences in our lives, so you're going to have to sort of narrow it down and pick, what's most important. You need to assess existing experiences in context with career goals and cultivating an online presence via your LinkedIn. So make sure you get that LinkedIn set up and sort of learn how to use it and all the cool stuff you can do on it. The ending objectives is really just to analyze and revise resumes and other professional development documents, as well as encourage realistic perspectives on your existing experiences, and I don't mean to be like condescending or anything, but I know when I took this class, I was a junior and I realized, wow, my resume cover letter is like it kind of sucks. And so it was really that eye-opening thing, like, why I really do need to get more on there. Like, yeah, I had an internship my freshman year, but after that, I sort of just like didn't do much at all sophomore year. And so I realized I needed to pick it back up before graduation, or else, you know, it's going to be in a sad place. So hopefully filling this out and really thinking about it can show you, and hopefully you still have some time left in your degree to, you know, flesh out your experiences with some projects and hobbies and clubs and applying to internships and whatever you can get. All right, and then this project will also lead into the peer review. So because these documents are so important, you will be critiquing each other's work. It should be assigned through Canvas, who your partner is, and so make sure that you get this in and then critique your partner's work, and I'll do a video on that specifically. So, bye.